Thanks very much, Fritz. Just a quick word before we get into the strategy. I can't believe how much Fritz has achieved on 150 grand. It really is quite stunning. And I read his report, which I know you guys have seen, and I felt quite tired just reading it, let alone living through it. So well done, Fritz. Fritz came to the board with the mall idea, which had been developed with Chris Mulcair from NZ Trade and Enterprise. And of course, it correctly identifies the different sectors that we have here. The list is quite similar for every region of New Zealand, except for, of course, the geothermal. And even the geothermal is similar from Taupo to White Island. So, for example, if you do read Rotorua's plan, it's pretty similar, which is actually great because it means we can collaborate with them. It's also very similar to the whakaaro plan. And again, they make natural partners for us. However, the board of EGLT decided that we'd take a whole day and we wouldn't just look at the similarities, but we would also look at some of the differences from other regions as well as our similarities. We felt that we needed to see where we might be able to do more, offer more, and build more while still sitting within the New Zealand picture. We wanted to put into words and writing our thinking for this region. However, I have to tell you guys, this is surprisingly difficult to do. And I always curious to see what the national government's doing as well, and they obviously have far greater resources than we have, and I think that they struggle with this too. And when I read the National Growth Agenda for New Zealand, it's really around, milking it dry, flogging it off, or mining it. And I guess that our board wanted to take that there's nothing wrong with that, that's great, but looking a little bit deeper, specifically for our region. So what did we come up with? Essentially, we felt we had a role to play in starting a genuine and deliberate conversation across all the sectors of our community about what this community wants and how we might be able to get it. We felt somebody has to make a start somewhere, so this document you've got in your hands is the start. It's certainly by no means the end. I guess that this document is designed to try to tease out some of the key messages that we feel may be important for our region. So the first one is about adding value to our resources. So instead of obviously cutting down a tree and sending it to Tauranga, maybe we could make a chair out of it. Or maybe instead of just milking a cow and sending it off to Fonterra, maybe, as of course is already happening at Maraka, maybe we can add some value to the product here in the region and keep some of the value here in the region. Aquaculture that Fritz mentioned, again, there are opportunities there. We can add value in that sector. So the first thing is to look how we add value to the resources that we have here. And I think it's really key to note we have fantastic resources here. We are not short of things to make other things with. Connections. One of the things that Fritz has alluded to several times during this presentation is if we connect some of these sectors, it makes all the difference. We do have a huge competitive advantage, particularly with the help of Andy from the geothermal sector, to add the geothermal resource to some of our other resources, tourism, wood and water. Let's acknowledge all the people of our region as well, all their endeavours and all their thinking. Community is key to the economy, so we really need to be working with all sectors of the community. And lastly, let's not be afraid to be smart, and that I think applies to New Zealand as well as just to Taupo. Let's honour our thinkers and our intellectuals. Let's take their ideas and let's add some value. So let's try and be smart and green and confident of our future. The messages that we've put here, obviously, we need them to fit into the national context. And this is the start of the conversation, I guess. So we're starting it here today. We'll be taking it out across our region, and we'd also obviously like to take it out across our country and see if these messages resonate with the people here. I think that's everything, guys. That's us. If there's any questions?
Are you wanting to open it up now for questions, please? Okay, councillors, any questions?
Mind-boggling.
Councillor Kirk?
Mine's not so much a question, but a huge kudos to you guys. I'm just gobsmacked when I read your report. I mean, I've attended some of the things that you've done and in a previous job worked in a part of the White House, so could hear the hum of the hub, so to speak. Amazing Fritz and Anne and Sue and Andy and Matthew and everybody. I'm just when we all became a new council, we were very keen on moving the district forward as all of us, Turangi and Mangakino as well, and with you guys at the helm with business of wanting the same thing, of us all working together for the big picture. It's just making everything so much easier, and I'm just really, really proud to be a Tauponian right now. Well done.
Thank you. I'll pass it to my team.
Any other questions? Councillor Kippen?
Thanks, Fritz, for that. You've been doing a lot of hard work and district-wide, and we do see you down in Turangi. I just want to ask a question on page 1/7 about the cash flow card game. Did any of the Turangi schools take up the cash flow board game?
No, they did not.
Thank you.
Sorry.
We did have an evening and invited all the schools district-wide to come, and Turangi-Tongariro area school did come up and they participated, but they failed to get
We do have games available.
Well, thanks for that. We shall follow up.
Thank you.
Further, Councillor Craig? Can I ask a hard question, Fritz?
Please.
What do you see as the greatest opportunity in the next 10 years for our town?
The greatest
District, yeah.
the greatest opportunity, I think, for us is that we just had some clarity around now of what our biggest assets here, and they've got to be around geothermal and adding value to geothermal. So that is something we're putting a lot of energy into, funnily enough. And who says I have no sense of humour? If we can, again, I'll hark back to my presentation now, if we can show businesses that there is a real opportunity to save operational cost and create businesses that right now don't even exist. We're not too interested in competing with other regions because that's been done. It doesn't help New Zealand either. We want to create new things here, and geothermal's got to be the single most exciting thing that we can do in adding value to either the forestry, agriculture, or aquaculture, or the tourism for that matter in the district. Because it is hilarious that everywhere it's steaming. We had a meeting at GNS the other day. We had one of the landlords had just bought a big chunk of the old Harvey site there. I came and visited him with the site. He drove me around and he said, "Look, I've got all this steam coming out. What did I do with it?" And some people seriously before said, "How can I concrete it over?" You're saying this is a bit like 40, 50 years ago when people were discovering big black puddles, I guess, in Texas, and they're going, "Bloody nuisance!" That stuff comes up everywhere. In another 5 to 10 years, I'll be predicting, and I'll definitely put money on this one, is that the energy will get more expensive, it'll get scarcer, and Taupo is sitting on top of it. As long as it's sustainable and it's been managed well, which we believe it is, it's got some great potential for this district. So that's where we're putting our energy.
Okay. I don't know if the councillors have actually opened these cards, but you're more than welcome to have a look, and Taupo Times might like to take note. I was actually one of the judges on the Lions Den when they came along with all these ideas, these school kids. This is fantastic. I don't know how many times you go past the eyesight and there's people waiting for a bus or something and they're sitting there playing cards, because they're tourists from overseas. And how many people honestly take a pack of cards home and they go home and they're actually back in England or Germany or Belgium or somewhere and they're playing cards. And all the things in Taupo have actually paid to have their business put on them. Taupo Debrets and Hooker Jets and all that type of thing. I think this was a brilliant idea. It won that competition, I must say. I was only one of the judges, but it won that competition just absolutely hands down, and I'm really, really pleased to see that it did get produced and that they have made a quid out of it, because I think it should be kept going. But that's just one item out of your presentation. But if there's no more questions, I too would like to speak on behalf of my fellow councillors that I can just tell the buzz in the room that you and Fritz, you, Sue, Matthew, Anne, Greg and Andy, as a very well-oiled, cohesive machine in the last year, you've just gone, you're just up the top there. Where we came from, what we've been through in the way of producing funding and things like that, and the apprehension perhaps at the time. But hey, you're 10 out of 10, and I look forward to carrying on working with you, and I know my fellow councillors do where possible. I know there's certain things that we can't talk about because they are business sensitive, but I would be quite confident to say, and that can be repeated in the media, that there are big things going to happen in this district over the next very short while, I actually believe. So well done to the whole lot of you, and it's hard for councillors when they have to fund things and perhaps ratepayers aren't comfortable with it, etc. Hey, we did it, but more important than that, you've done it. So well done as far as I'm concerned. So thank you very much for your presentation, and it gives me great pleasure to ask my councillors that there is a suggested resolution on page number 1 that the item be received, that the representatives of Enterprise Great Lake Taupo Trust be thanked for their presentation. Could I have a mover, please? Moved, Councillor Williams, and seconded somewhere over here, Councillor Crate. And I'm sure it will be unanimous. All in favour? Aye. Thank you very, very much. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thanks. Great.